That it is. This meeting is being recorded. This is Lyle and Lee here again with what will be the second installment of the GitLab support key metrics review. And so we're really excited here. I want to take a minute to talk about what we aim to do with this and what you should expect. So about every 6 weeks, support does a key metrics review, which is a form of managing up. The support engineering team talks about the data we have, the results we have from the initiatives we've been working on, and we present that to the executive team. A conversation ensues, and we then go from there and bring that back to the team. This effort here is to be more transparent and to make sure that the team understands what came from that review and what's happening inside of the department. So the other thing that I want to talk about is there are more senior leaders than just myself and Lyle. We have Sean McCann and a new director coming in EMEA. So this format should evolve where you'll see more faces and talking about more initiatives. So look forward to that. To talk more about what we'll cover in this call specifically, Lyle will be covering a review of the key metrics review, and there will be a link in the document where you can go and see exactly what was talked about. Highlighted requests from the executive team. And this is our chance to talk about what are the executives asking for from us, or what are they telling us about, and how we're going to interpret that. And then from there, I'll talk about OKRs and the senior leadership group and the leadership team, what the OKRs that they've been, where they've been driving, and what successes we've seen. And then from there, we'll talk about a path forward from here, from this moment. Where are we headed? So at the end of this call, you should feel like you got a chance to be further connected, a better understanding of what the executives know, a better understanding of what leadership inside of support is focusing on, and a better understanding of where you can contribute to drive value. So from there, I turn it over to Lyle. Lyle, tell us about the key metrics review.
Sure. So first I want to highlight you can watch the key metrics yourself if you don't want to take our word for it. It is on YouTube. And then also the doc is going to be linked in this doc, which will also be linked in the Support Week Review doc. So it's sort of an inception situation. But what we messaged, typically Tom C takes us through the highlights from the last period. Like we do these once a month, so the past month, and the not so highlights. So the highlights that we messaged the E-team this month were consistent performance above target for self-managed FRT. We've made excellent progress in reducing free user support costs, and we've done a good job of keeping customers informed through our excellent NRT performance. The things that we showcased that were not so highlights were that we're improving in our SaaS FRT SLA, that's .com, but we're still not quite to target. So we're taking 2 actions specifically on that. So we have the metrics analysis working group, where we're diving into the individual metrics and forming hypotheses and either refuting those or seeing that they're supported, which we'll propose some specific actions for. If you want to know more about that, there's a link to the handbook page that covers what we do and to all the recordings and to the issues where we're working. The other thing that we're doing is we have a trial this week in EMEA that's going to be going on for at least the next couple of weeks, where we're evolving the current FRT and SLA hawk process to the support crew. You can take a look at that in Support Team Meta issue 2712. But I think everyone's aware because we've seen really good results this week. The other not so highlight that we spotlighted was that while we're above 90% SSAT, we're still below our 95% target. So we don't have any specific actions for that right now, but that is something that you can expect to see us taking a deeper look at soon. Feedback from the E-team. They really, really highlighted that we're doing a great job on that free tickets effort reduction. So what are we at, Lee? 60 some odd percent?
66% or so right now.
Yeah. So that's, just to put that in perspective, that's 66% less work than we were doing before.
Right.
I mean,
On free user
on free
tickets.
users.
And
Yes.
in numbers, I think right now that's somewhere around 300 tickets that we don't have to touch, right? I think overall across tickets, that puts us at about a 1% reduction, if I'm doing my math right. Maybe a little bit more, but let me underestimate instead of over.
Still significant. The E team was interested in asking a little bit more about sort of what the overall strategy on free ticket reduction was, like how are we going to go forward and how we're measuring it. They're interested in FY22 planning, how we're going to adjust the gearing ratio and what our staffing headcount is going to look like. And then they're interested in sort of the status of LNR. So they had two requests. One request was that we can get to a point where we can remove sales from the license app. During the meeting, none of us had the answer. So we had to defer to Sean. I caught up with Sean yesterday and we're already there. So request number one, done. The blockers for removing sales from the license app are actually outside of the support team. And we're ready and prepared that if that gets removed, we can service those requests as they come in. The other was just stay the course on all other efforts. So results overall are going well. We're doing the right actions to get the results, and so keep going.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Lyle. I'm excited and this is great to see. And the point of this call is to make sure that you know what we're presenting upward and you're getting a chance to see it, and the involvement that you've had there is getting passed on up, and the execs are saying great job, and they sometimes have questions, so those questions were there. This next section is about OKRs, and I definitely wanted to take a second to talk about it. I think historically, if you've been here for a while, in support, there has been a division of OKRs, and managers kind of focused on them. And then the team kind of continued to focus on evolving tickets and process there. But we've grown so much, and our ability to iterate and move due to our growth and the ability of managers to lead efforts has grown. OKRs are going to continue to be more important for our group. So I want to take this time to tie us back together and just bring attention to the OKRs and why they're important. So the first one I want to talk about is James Lopes, who's been focused on US federal and how to evolve and grow that, because it's getting important. And we have all of these great examples of processes that we're using in other roles for global support, and how do we better do that for federal. So he's been working on getting some KPIs, getting some charts and data, creating a better model, and driving participation in that queue if you work in the US. So if you're interested in that or want to talk more, James is the person. The next one up is one of my reports, Rebecca Spainhauer. She and I have been talking a lot, and this quarter, her OKR was around quality of life, right? And we spent some time trying to figure out how we improve quality of life for the team. And in that, we saw Hawks as a challenge. And in that, we also saw that APAC and EMEA are doing some trials on evolving Hawk roles. So it became kind of a very crowded space. And we said, what can we do next? And so Rebecca is doing analysis now to try and evolve email-based support and reducing that. And how can we roll out a plan to reduce email support, and so people use the portal exclusively? So if you're interested in that or have concerns or challenges, talk to Rebecca. But we're very excited, starting analysis, small rollout, and scale. So that's where that is headed. So I expect that to be over the next 1 or 2 quarters before we see results there. Next up is Mike Dunninger. He's also experimenting with ticket lifecycle and how we reduce breaching through better ticket management. And so in this, he's experimenting with his reports, and they're doing a trial to understand. He has ideas, he has some processes, some challenges. Does that help? So we're at the stage now where the team has been exposed to those ideas. The team is working tickets, and his test group, we're building some dashboards, and we're going to say, are we seeing any dramatic difference, positive or negative? If we're not, do we have anything that the team says improving quality of life or improving the way that we operate that we can take from there? So look forward to that. If you're interested in evolving our ticket management processes or talking with Mike about what he's doing, talk to Mike Dunninger. Ilya is working on support metrics. I want to give a shout out. Another support metrics head, Ilya, has made some incredible queries. And in that, we're trying to make sure that we define the core queries and standardize on them, and then make it a little bit cleaner because we're exploring tons of data. We're exploring things all the time. And the cleaner we can be and the clearer we can be, the easier it will be for managers to get what they need to help anyone run tests or experiments and get data. The next one up will be from me, reducing the cost for free users. Lyle just talked about that a minute ago. We've seen great results, which I want to be very clear. I was just the figurehead coordinating these things. Most of these ideas came either from the team or for Rebecca Spainhauer or Ronnie were also involved. And Ronnie, you won't see his OKR here because he's been part of my OKR and been working on that. So I want to just take that minute to shout out to the team. Cynthia, Jason, I know you've been involved. There've been DeAndre's been involved in some short stuff as well. So thank you. And we're seeing results. Our target was 50. We're at 66%. We think we can get to 75. So that's amazing. So thank you. And last up, I'll talk about Lyle's on his behalf, just very quickly. Lyle has been his OKRs around service desk and how can we better evolve that for support and better get a chance to use it. And with that, he's been focused more on other things. There's been some activity, but we don't have any results at the moment. He's been coordinating with the IT department and understanding how they're using service desk and what they need so that we can collaborate and get an ask to product management. And also, what, if any, product improvements has support driven? This OKR is symbolic of a larger desire to make sure that we are feeding improvements that we need and customers will use into the product at large. And I want to take a minute here. I talked with Cynthia last night. She was working towards a support fix and she had a list of things. So Cynthia is somebody here to talk to about this, a list of things that product drove, but also we found some spots where we got stalled or stuck, and that's why we're trying to support fix those into existence. But yeah, I think Cynthia has a good few examples. So that's something that I want to highlight to the team and also shout out to Cynthia there. And if you're somebody that has examples, share them with Lyle because that's what he's after. And the next one is Sean McCann. We've talked about LNR and we've seen great results. But again, Sean is just the figurehead here. I want to give early shout outs as well to Tom Atkins and Donique. They were very essential and pivotal to calling the concerns with this and driving, as well as Amanda Ryuda, who was in support and now in product, helping us deliver some results here. Collaboration plus plus. Sean's been leading this, but we're seeing results from the efforts in the team as well as Tom in America, as well as some other members in APAC. I'm forgetting your names, but I know you're involved. Don't think I'm counting you out. This has been a huge team effort. So there's a slide in our group conversation that we just gave. It'll be linked in the document that's linked here that you could see Sean's data that he's presented. And the last one, been talking for a little bit. Hopefully it wasn't too annoying for you. Jason on the support ops side is trying to reduce needs org, and he's done a lot of automations here. Jason's been a great help. He's been a support member for a while at GitLab. Transitioning into support ops, he's been really effective at delivering value to improve our team's experience and to evolve our customers' experience. And I'm going to take a minute here to shout out as well. I think it's a right time and right place. A few weeks ago, the leadership team thought, hey, we can talk about Unbabel in our ticket reply footers. And the management team said, yeah, that seems reasonable. Jason executed on this and the team spoke up. And the management team said, wait a minute, what happened? How did we miss this? And from there, we took a step back and said, hey, we can evolve this. And that's the nature that we want to have. Support ops was respectful and responsive. We heard, and as a management group, we evolved and we made sure that we're delivering value to our customers and making sure the quality of life for the team was not negatively impacted. So thank you all for engaging there and continuing to evolve our support operations. So Thank you all. Hopefully this helps you understand the state. There are a lot of things moving in support right now, and it is hard for even Lyle, myself, Sean, and the new director and EMEA to keep up. But we're making sure that we do what we can to keep you involved. If you have questions, you can always ask us, and we'll do our best to help. To wrap up this call, we're going to talk about kind of where we're headed towards next, our path forward. So I'll turn it over to Lyle for the first one.
Yeah, first one is we're going to continue to get more people involved in .com tickets. So if you take a look at, like, if you break the metrics out week by week, a big contributor to our lower FRT time is .com, our SaaS stuff. So the only way to, we've reduced the free users, we've gotten rid of some of the cruft, but I think ultimately the only way to get up to our FRT and NRT SLA targets is to get more people involved. We have a plan already. There's a support issue that I can get linked that has a staffing plan. We're just over that in EMEA. So we're spinning some people up. But we also understand that, like, as focus moves from self-managed towards .com, that less attention could cause our next reply time SLA to drop on self-managed. We're comfortable with a small drop. We want to shrink that variance between .com and self-managed, and we want our overall KPI achievement to be at or above target. So if we are turning down from 98 to 96, not concerned. That's exactly where we want to be. If that 2% dip on self-managed is a 10% increase in .com, that's exactly where we want to be. I think Lee, you have number 2, or do you have anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I'll add really quickly there as well, and then I'll talk about the next one. And that key point that I want to share from Lyle is that's the thing. I want to make sure it's extremely clear. We're not trying to say you need to work twice as hard in 2 different places and take on more work. No, we need to balance. And we're saying we have some headroom. And based on volume, that's where Lyle is talking about, right? That 2% drop could equal a 10% improvement because of the ticket volume, right? And that's the difference. And that's the interesting thing. And so we're like, yeah, if we do a good job of balancing and that's what happens, that's success, right? We're not going to say keep that and do better here because that means working harder. No, we need to work smarter. So if you see us trying to evolve that and work towards that, keep that in mind and continue to balance to maintain our health. So thanks for sharing, Lyle. And that's something that I want to really make sure that the team knows. I want to be extremely explicit in that. The next one I want to talk about is around trials, and trials in EMEA are showing promise around the Hawk support crew. Right? You've heard us talk about this. You've seen some chatter in Slack. You've seen some things probably from Tom Atkins. If you're in EMEA, you've been doing it. We've mentioned this in earlier in this doc. We've mentioned this in the support week in review. So we are very excited, and we're going to see how we evolve that and scale it across the globe. Those who've been here for a while know that global scaling is actually a challenge we've had. But as a management group, we are not shying away from that, and we need to learn how to do better. This is an opportunity that we see where we're going to drive that and do better. And so hold us to that. We want to evolve process and we want to do better. If you have feedback, we want to hear it. So share that in your one-on-ones, share that in your skip level, share that in Slack. We want to hear it because we want to improve it. So thank you for the people who've been making what we believe to be a success there. And we're hoping that we can scale that once we see some data and evolve it.
I did want to add on there, like, for folks that have been participating in it, we also want to know if it improves or decreases your quality of life. If it's not working for you, if it's terrible, that's really important at this stage to know that. So maybe Lisa, did you say all those things?
I don't know if I
just want to
captured
be
it in this
okay.
moment, but I think you're spot on, right? And I want to be extremely clear, right? Because one of the big challenges we have is for one person, it's a challenge, and then for a bunch of people, it's an improvement. We need to work together and understand and try and understand, is this generally improving quality of life, and how do we, if we have to adjust and evolve, we do, right? So I want to keep that in mind. But yes, if if everybody involved in the support crew says it's horrible, even though it's potentially getting better results, that's not going to be really easy to scale, and that's not going to be a good experience to scale, right? I would expect morale to drop. But from what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing now, it sounds good. But we want to make sure that you speak out and speak up. If you're comfortable doing that on issues and publicly, please do. If you are not, you can always channel that through your manager and make sure that you're heard, right? That's the important thing, so that we make sure that we're addressing feedback.
The next thing that we wanted to talk about was progress in LNR. Like, one, it's incredibly impressive. Like, the results we've had, the month's not closed out yet, but it looks like it's going to be the best month we've had in LNR over the last 7. So that's just impressive result from the team. We're going to continue to be looking at the hard work that you're doing there. We're going to keep on tuning this to make sure that these results are repeatable, because one win doesn't mean that's something, and we should celebrate it. But really, we want to build the machine that's going to continue to get results over the long term. So, yeah, we're not quite there yet. I'm not putting up the banner mission accomplished, and I don't think Sean's putting up the banner mission accomplished. But we do want to celebrate both the results that we've seen and also realize that we're not there yet. We're still iterating. We're still making sure that we get repeatable results. So I think that is it.
Yeah, I think so too. Lyle, thanks for joining me in this. I've been making sure I want to make sure that the team knows that senior leadership is here. We're listening. We want to hear from you. We want to engage to understand how we improve our processes. One of the things that I'll wrap up and end with is a lot of the stuff that we're seeing here. We talked about managers and OKRs and things like that, and you're involved. And with that, I want to see more things driven by the team. I want to see the team. And in the support we can review, we just talked about a ton of stuff that the team is driving. So I'm thankful for that. And as we go forward, I want to continue that and continue a space where the team can find things, right? Managers aren't some special group that just have magic problem solving powers. We all have those powers, right? And I want to take that and say, help us solve these problems with your ideas. Help us to explore your ideas and validate or invalidate them, and be gracious if they fail and they don't work, right? And that's something that I want to just keep at our core, because we have a ton of smart people on this team who are coming from all walks of life, all over the globe, collaborating, connecting together to make GitLab, the team, the company, and the experience for our customers better. And that is what I cannot wait. I'm so proud to continue that. And I just want us to drive that and continue to grow. So keep that in mind.
All right. That's it.
All right. Thank you all. I really appreciate it. Lyle and I appreciate it. Next time you'll see a different pair of people delivering this. So expect to hear from us in about 6 weeks' time, and know that these may be, the next one could be a little bit more challenging, right? Or that there could be not as positive things going on. And that's okay. We're going to do our best to communicate as transparently, collaboratively, and effectively as we can. And hopefully this message finds you well. Thanks all. Bye.